With each passing day, we inch ourselves closer and closer to the end of the 2021 NBA season. One by one, teams will be eliminated from the playoffs, and before we know it, we'll be crowning a champion. And because of this, a lot of focus is already shifting towards the offseason. Every offseason in the NBA is a spectacle worth paying attention to as well, because we tend to get quite a few league-changing moves that alter the direction of tons of teams. And this brings us to the topic of today's video. We've done this plenty of times on this channel already, but today we'll be analyzing another article posted by national media outlet Bleacher Report titled "Realistic Trades to Rescue NBA's Top Young Stars," where they proposed 4 trades to give rising young NBA stars the appropriate help that they need to take their individual play and the play of their teams as a whole to the next level. I'll be giving my views on how realistic each trade is, why or why not the teams involved would want to do it, and if it actually does help as much as it seems like it would in theory. And if you want to read the actual article itself, it will be linked in the description of this video. Before we start though, it turns out about 62% of you watching right now aren't even subscribed to the channel, so please, if you enjoy the content, consider hitting the subscribe button, as not only does it help out a ton, but I would also very much appreciate it. Now with that being said, let's begin. The first trade proposed in the article is to help out Zion Williamson, and in it the Pelicans ship out Eric Bledsoe and Steven Adams in exchange for Kristaps Porzingis from the Dallas Mavericks. Zion Williamson had a monster second season in the NBA, but it got overshadowed by the mediocrity of the Pelicans, so he didn't quite get as much attention by the general public for it. The Pelicans are a team with quite a few young, exciting players on the rise, but it didn't translate to wins on the court this season, as they finished in 11th place in the West. When Zion Williamson first came into the league, he was viewed as someone who could potentially become a superstar and one of the best players in the league, and honestly, he's on track to be exactly that in the near future if he continues to progress. But right now, the Pelicans really aren't built to maximize his ability. Williamson is one of the most dominant paint players in the NBA right now, and he just averaged the most points in the paint in a season since Shaq. So needless to say, Steven Adams, who clogs the paint, isn't exactly an ideal pairing for him in the front court. In theory, this trade for Porzingis would be incredibly beneficial to the Pelicans and Zion in particular, but I honestly don't see why the Mavericks would do this deal. Both Bledsoe and Adams are being paid hefty contracts for at least the next 2 years, and neither really improve the Mavericks as a whole, which would be the only reason that the team would trade Porzingis in the first place. The Mavericks' goal is to get Luka Doncic as much help as they can, and will only trade Porzingis if that's the end result, and in this trade the opposite would be happening, so in my opinion, the Mavericks would definitely decline this one. The next proposed trade in the article is actually for Luka Doncic's benefit, and in it the Mavericks give up Kristaps Porzingis and a first-round pick swap in exchange for CJ McCollum of the Portland Trail Blazers. As we discussed in the last proposal, the Mavericks will be on the hunt for ways to improve the roster around Luka Doncic this offseason. He is clearly ready for the big stage as a 22-year-old already, and the lack of production from his supporting cast, including Kristaps Porzingis, was one of the biggest reasons why they were unable to finish off the Clippers in their first-round series after leading it early on. This trade is between two teams that are kind of in the same boat, where they're both looking for ways to get their franchise player better help, as the pairing of Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum has been together for years and only made it out of the first round twice together. The Mavericks are missing a secondary creator to take some pressure off of Luka Doncic's shoulders to do everything, and the Blazers' front court depth is incredibly thin, so in theory, this is a deal that could intrigue both teams involved. However, in actuality, McCollum is still a far better playoff performer than Porzingis, and I believe he has more value on the trade market than Porzingis, and a pick swap wouldn't be enough to cover the difference in value. Perhaps if the Mavericks include a bit more draft capital or another player as a sweetener, this deal could get done, but this trade as it currently stands is close but not enough to actually happen. The next trade is for the benefit of LaMelo Ball, and in it, the Hornets ship out Terry Rozier and 2 second-round picks in exchange for Miles Turner from the Indiana Pacers. LaMelo Ball is the likely winner of this year's Rookie of the Year award, and he's only just getting started. After being one of the most polarizing NBA draft prospects we've seen in a while, he's definitely lived up to and even exceeded expectations this season. He's now the future of the Hornets team, and could be the face of the franchise that they've been looking for ever since Kemba Walker left, but they'll have to do a better job getting LaMelo competent teammates than they did for Kemba to keep him long term. They're already on the verge of being a playoff team, having come up just short in the play-in games this year, but moving forward they can definitely make a leap, and this move would absolutely help with that. The Hornets have a plethora of productive guards and wing players, but a thin front court, and their defense ranked in the middle of the pack at 16th best in the league this season, so that's definitely an area that they need to improve on. And with both Cody Zeller and Bismack Biyombo hitting free agency this year, there will be an even bigger hole in the front court for Miles Turner to come in and fill as one of the best shot blockers and rim protectors in the league, who can also space the floor better than any of their centers that the Hornets had this year prior. For the Pacers, they learned this year that the pairing of Domantas Sabonis and Miles Turner isn't exactly something that works out that well statistically, as the team was always seemingly better with one of those two on the bench so the other could play center full time, so they'll likely at some point have to trade one of them. Being able to cash in on Terry Rozier, who put up a highly efficient 20 points per game this season, would be solid value for the Pacers, and so far, this one is my favorite trade proposed in the article. And finally, the last trade in the article was for the benefit of De'Aaron Fox of the Kings, and in it the Kings give up Buddy Hield, Marvin Bagley III, and a 2021 first-round pick with pick swaps in 2023 and 2024 for Bradley Beal of the Washington Wizards. Right off the bat, it needs to be said that the Wizards have emphasized several times that they are not looking to trade Bradley Beal at all, but at the same time, things can change fast in the NBA, as we saw with the Rockets at the beginning of this season with both Russell Westbrook and James Harden. Fox has been one of the most quietly impressive young stars in the NBA because of the fact that the Kings are continually one of the most disappointing teams making it quiet. But if they were to somehow snag Bradley Beal, that could change in a heartbeat. Now, is this offer enough to land Bradley Beal? Well, Hield has shown that he can be one of the best shooters in the league, despite 2 inconsistent seasons in a row. Bagley has demonstrated promising versatility, despite the fact that he can't ever seem to stay healthy, and the picks and pick swaps offer decent bonus value. But if Beal were to actually be on the trade market, there is not a chance that this would be the best offer that the Wizards receive for him. Beal is one of the best scorers in the entire league, and if it were known that he could be had in a trade, the Wizards would probably garner a lot more value from other teams in offers. So needless to say, this is not a realistic route to get De'Aaron Fox any more help. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think about the proposed trades discussed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.